Hello everyone, hello everyone. Big John here. Now, crime. I just want to go through some crimes that have happened in Oldham and we can have a quick discussion about each one. And we'll start off with Gavin Hopley. 19-year-old man kicked to death. There was 3 lads chased. One got into someone's house, and some Muslim's house in the Glodwood Curry of Oldham. The other one got back to town centre. Gavin was kicked to death. And the kick that finished him off was a flying kick, helped by a fence, a nearby fence, to the head, fell over, bang, on the road, dead. And the guys got off, they got cleared of murder and just got violent disorder charges. Big thing, this is bigger than the Stephen Lawrence case because there was nothing. That's all they got. Yeah, when we look at Stephen Lawrence, the guys were done for murder. The police got a load of shit. And then all the awards and all that lot. So straight away, if you're an ethnic minority, your death is treated differently than a white person. That's what this is saying to me. Some guy lied in during the case that he wasn't there, and another guy shocked him in. He shocked him in by having drug and rape charges dropped. Then he shocked this guy and he made a deal to drop them charges to shock this guy in violent disorder. So that was 2001. 2001. Next incident, 4 jailed for torturing 16-year-old with hot iron and knife in Oldham. And this time they've put the guy, this is unusual, this. All the guys were under 18 involved. There they are. They've put them in the paper and they've named them all. Shabir Khan, Adam Hussein, Ashan Khan, we'll get around to him again, and Safan Yukab. 4 teenagers tortured a 16-year-old boy, pouring lemon juice into his burns and sexually assaulting him. The victim suffered horrific injuries after being lured to an house in Wornoff area of Oldham, where he was tied up with tape around his mouth, hands and feet. Wornoff is a predominantly Pakistani area, and the lads are Pakistani as well. So they were put behind bars, 6 years, 6 months, 4-year sentences for 2 of them. Ashan Khan, 15, Cornwall Street, initially pleaded not guilty, but after a 2-week trial was found guilty of blackmail, false imprisonment, wounding, intent. So they think they're going to get away with it, and this is not guilty. This is a lot common, this, within the Pakistani communities, going not guilty and stuff like that. When they are guilty and they end up getting, I would say more than 50% of rape trials have been past 10 years to do with grooming. I would say something like 80% of them, the people plead not guilty or don't do any comment, even though they get found guilty. More than 80%. Pictures of the guy after he was burnt, sexually assaulted. So these guys were 17, 16 and 15. What have we taught them? How did he get brought up that that's what they're doing at that age? And it does seem that once kids get to that age, 14, 15, that's when they start the crime, the crimes. That's now we'll get back. Obviously, this was 2016. The guys have done the jail now. They've done the sentences. It weren't 5 years. They get half time or whatever. But the guys are out now. They're out. But let's get on to the next one. Let's get on to the next one. So, 3 teenagers locked up for sickening attack at Tram stop, which left man lying in pool of blood. 2 15-year-old boys and a 16-year-old punched and kicked the victim over 100 times at Freehold Tram station in Oldham. That's in the Werneth area of Oldham, which is again Pakistani. Now, it says that the guys are Asian, but I've said this from the beginning. When you look at the video, they run off in different directions. They live around there. So I could say that the Pakistani Muslims, not Asians. That's what I would say on this particular. And that's with my experience of Oldham and stuff like that. I mean, people can doubt me, but Werneth is a Pakistani area. It's simple as. So 100 times. Now, 49-year-old. He suffered a bleed behind the eye, broken nose, heavy facial bruising, and loss of teeth. It was only luck that he survived. It was that a few weeks later, I'm on the tram coming back from Manchester, and I'm with my mate, Warkettle. He's a YouTuber, for Britain person. And it was coming up because we was going to a demo by UKIP veterans and DFLA in Rochdale. First time we met Billy Howarth from PAG UK and Linda, God rest in peace, Linda. So I offered him to stay. He could stay with me, me and my missus at our house for a few days before he gets back off. So I went down picking him up, and we got on the tram, and it's the same tram line that this happened on. And I was talking about it when we was coming up to the Freehold stop. Now, across the way, sat down across the way, is a black lad. He's took his headphones off, must have overheard us. I've got a loud voice. And he's turned around and said, I was there when it happened. So I had a few questions to him and said, well, you know, like, did you get off the tram? He said, well, the tram had already started, and some of the men on the tram were trying to force open the tram door. But there must be some thing on that where they're locked because the tram's moved out of the station. The tram did stop, and the guys, I think, forced the door open. So I said, what were everyone like viewing this? Because you would have been able to see it clearly. And he said the women on the tram were crying, and the guys were really agitated and upset because they wanted to get out of the tram and stop what were happening to this man across the road. Brutal, absolutely brutal. So I asked the guy, I said, well, what started all this off? There must have been something that started all this off on the tram. This is what he said to me. He said all the guy did was tell the lads to stop messing around or shouting or whatever. They were doing something in the tram. They might have been messing about. There's been loads of teenagers on that tram system, all different colours, damaging the trams and messing around. I've seen 2 citizens arrest myself when I've been on the tram. And that's all he did. He never swore at them. He never said any derogative marks. He never called them packy. He never swore, never raised his voice, just told him to stop messing around, and that's what I get for telling him to stop messing around. Again, teenagers, 15-year-old lads. It doesn't say in here whether they've been in trouble before, and it doesn't say on the other one neither. But, you know, so how are we bringing kids up in England, and these lads look like they were born over here, that they're doing that? Is it because of their community? The things they learn in their community? Is it because of lefty indoctrination and stuff like that? I would say it's their community that's okayed this. That gives them, it's their community and the way they're brought up that why they end up being so violent. I'm sure, I'm not an expert, but I'm sure there's other people who could come on and give you a better breakdown than I can and tell you the same thing that I'm saying, but in better terms. There's a picture. The guys on the floor against the railings. The lads move away. Then they come back like they haven't given me enough. There's one there's on the side of the tram tracks. I just couldn't make it up. Again, 5 years. Defence counsel for the teenagers state that lack of maturity played a significant role in their behaviour that night. No, it didn't. What played a part in their role was a racist against white people. It's fucking bollocks, honestly, in that area. And I mean, the tram system, about the same time that walkout came up, I've got a friend who works as like security. And they had a big run of security on the trams, especially at night time and during the day. The Oldham line, the Manchester to Rochdale line, is one of the most dangerous sections of the tram system in Greater Manchester. Besides that, we've got a tax. I'll get round to more to do with that tram system in a bit. They subjected an innocent man to a relentless, brutal and shocking attack for no reason other than because they felt like it. That's what's written in the paper. That is a racist attack. That certainly is a racist attack. And the paper and the politically correct thing in Oldham have got them to say that. Just like Gavin Hopley, that happened 19 years before. You know what I mean? It's bollocks. It's bollocks. So that was 2018. Glodwick murder, man jailed for life. So a 22-year-old Pakistani Muslim was coming out the mosque, bottom of Green Gate Street, Waterloo Street. A car's pulled up with 5 Somalians in, and he's been stabbed to death. And this happened. It happened about, it might have been about now times. Let me just have a look at the date. Yeah, it was the beginning of the year that it happened, this, I remember. Because it was 3:15 in the afternoon, but it was still dark early. So it must have been in the winter months it happened. And they're saying that the guys here got sent down 2018. So let's have a look at these guys. Mohammed Jama, age 20, Ashley Street, Oldham. Life imprisonment for the murder of the 22-year-old. He will serve minimum 18 years. 2 other men were jailed earlier today in connection with the same investigation. Musa Jama, 22, Ashley Street, Oldham. Sentenced to 1 year and 9 months in prison. Brothers. Sadiq Jama, 23, Longsight. Possession with intent to supply crossage was sentenced to 2 years. The pair, along with their brother, Sadiq, threatened a number of people in the area before they came across Mohammed Nabil Hassin. Now, obviously, I'm back in Oldham, and I have some contacts here and there. And last week, I was talking to someone who and when I mentioned this case, he talked about it. And them lads were on a spree before that. They was building up. They'd been around threatening people in different areas. Now, these are Somalians, Pakistanis most hated, or they don't like each other. And they've been going around on a crime spree. Nothing had been done. They hadn't stopped them. Nobody had stopped them. And ended up them stabbing this lad to death, which he said was mistaken identity. And it says, he was there at the wrong place at the wrong time. No, No, we're sick of listening to that. These things shouldn't be happening on our streets with youngsters, with teenagers. So the oldest one there is 23. Now, every article I've talked about so far, except for the Gavin Hopley case, I think there was a couple who might have been older. Last May, between 18 and 39. But all the other cases so far are teenagers under the age of 25. Obviously, I got stabbed in 2018. Same there. The gang was aged between 15 and 25 who attacked us. And of course, it's not just about ethnic minorities battling over. It's about the overall state of the streets. Teenagers stabbed to death in street fight. A white lad stabbed to death by another white lad. I just don't get it why our society is so violent and why we feel the need that we have to take these knives with us. 19-year-old he was. More teenagers. It's ridiculous that our society is down to this. So again, I mean, stabbing happens. Yeah, a lot of people get stabbed, all different colours. But I mean, why I've pointed at them other crimes is that the politically correct Gavin Hopley case, that the 4 guys who tortured someone, I'll get back to them because there's more news about that particular. Well, about some of the lads in this case, yeah. And again, why are they like this at such a young age? The teenagers of the Tram attack as well. Again, why are they doing this at such a young age? And the fact that they did it because they felt like it. Another racist attack being covered up. Political correctness at its worst. The Somalians running down the Pakistani lad in Gloddick, and it was at 3:15 in the afternoon. And even though it was winter and it went dark earlier, it was a weekday. Opposite the area where he got stabbed, there is a junior infant school or primary school. Infant, I think it might be. Then there is another mosque type building just a bit further up. And 3:15 in the afternoon on a Friday. So anyone who knows about praying on a Friday to do with the mosque in Islam, it's a busy time. It's a busy time. And he was stabbed to death, brutally stabbed to death. And he weren't even, they're saying it was mistaken identity, but they were just on a crime spree. They just wanted to kill someone. They was building up to it. And I've got other information off other people to do with this gang and the way they was going round in different areas. They've been to Werneth earlier on, which near where the Tram attack. Then they're in Gloddick and they killed someone. Brutal, man, absolutely brutal. And I'm not going to make any excuses up. The Somalians are brutal people. So again, the 19-year-old stabbed to death. It's all right. Take a knife out. You can do that anytime if you want. Kidnap gang sentenced. Heavy prison sentences handed down to a gang who kidnapped an Oldham drug smuggler and his family. Heavy prison sentences have been handed out to a gang kidnapped Oldham drugs family street demanding about drugs. Crumsall. Now, I'm only educating, guessing. I'm not pointing any fingers or anything. Andre Burke was given 14 years. There's a black guy. Tundu Abodium, 25 of Cheatwell, another black guy. 4 other gang members pleaded guilty to incidents relating to the offence. Jervis Bailey, 23, Cheetham Hill. Lydia Thomas, 23, of Crumpsall. Wayne Wallbank, 20, of Blakely. Some of them are white, but the other 2 I mentioned were black guys. And a 17-year-old who didn't appear in court. The kidnap plot was hatched after Robert Garlick, 51, of Shaw, was remanded to prison in Manchester on charge of importing 10 million worth of cannabis into Britain from Spain. In the meantime, Garlick's son, also called Robert, buried a box containing 125 grand in drugs money in his father-in-law's garden. Drug scams. And, I mean, I'm not into it, me. I'm not into it. If I was a councillor or run the council, if you got caught with drugs, you'd be getting big sentences. You'd be getting every item took off you, and if you've got family, they'd be getting their stuff took off them as well to pay for all your crimes. You would do. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Not having it. So more brutalness. This is a drugs gang kidnapping. Some of them, they're not teenage. 20, 23, and 23. That is, as far as I'm concerned, 125, you're still in that teenage time. And most of the cases are brought up, the age is really between 15 and 25. In the news right now, trial going on right now, Cole Kershaw, feud over girl had simmered before shooting death. Shot to death by Pakistani lads. And they think it's like, all right, and they can just brutally kill people. And it were over a girl. There is a bit more to this story. I haven't looked at it all, but it is, the trial is going through now. I'm expecting after the trial, a lot of information will come out. I'm just repeating what's already on public domain, me. I'm not making anything up. I'm not accusing anyone in particular. These guys have been arrested and are being charged with murder. And they're denying it again. They're denying it again. Not good. Not good. This is ongoing Cole's case at Manchester, Minchell Street. So if you check the MEN, they'll have news. And what I'll do, next couple of days, I'll check myself and see what's happened with the case. And, I mean, just the other week, I'm just playing a bit of a video now, and it's off Rita's Facebook. But let me just play it and listen to what she's saying.
Okay, reporting it live as it happens. And this evening I was just sat nice and quietly, minding my own business. Me and Big John having a chat and a bonga, and chilling and having a laugh. Next thing you know, there's a knock at my window.
Yeah, I heard a knock at the door.
Or a knock at the door, so I goes and there's this guy. And he's like, I've been stabbed, so now I've got 1, 2.
Oh, sorry, that stopped. So, just at Rita's one evening, and there's a guy slumped at Rita's door who's been stabbed in the chest. Now, it didn't look bad. I went out and looked at the wound, and it didn't look bad. But Rita's got on the phone, got involved with the police, talking to the lad till the ambulance come. If we hadn't have done that and we'd have annoyed him, he'd be dead now, that lad. So there's a murder charge going on, and Rita is a witness for the murder. A witness as into, not for the murder, a witness as into what happened to the lad. If this guy goes guilty, she won't have to go to court. But if he goes not guilty, she has to go to court. So we're just there an evening, and then there's a knock at the door. There's a guy slumped there with a chest wound from just round the corner, a stabbing incident. And he was young, the lad. He weren't over 25, I wouldn't say. And if we hadn't had acted and done and got on the phone to the police and get the ambulance down, stayed with him, keeping him conscious and stuff like that, not letting him flunked, the lad would have been dead. So this is happening on our doorsteps. Now, obviously, doing the right thing, phoning the police, keeping him awake, going out, checking him and stuff like that. I physically went out and looked at the lad, mate, to see what kind of condition we're in. And it didn't look serious, but it ended up that another few minutes and he'd have been brown bread. He'd have been dead. And so this is someone just slumping against the door of Rita's house, where she lives, and she's got her granddaughters there as well. I'm not. These things should not be happening on our streets and at our fucking doorsteps. I just don't get it, mate. And I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Absolutely brutal. Now, earlier on, I was going about a particular case. 4 jailed for torturing someone. So it's 2016. I think it might have been 2015 this happened. Now, so Ashran Khan has ended up getting out and been stabbed on the street. Teen stabbed to death, had sexually assaulted and tortured boy over £80 debt. Ashran Khan, 19, was jailed for 5 years in 2016 after a 16-year-old boy was sexually assaulted, kidnapped. I've been through the case, yeah, and he was 15 at the time or whatever. And he was stabbed to death in the middle of the street in broad daylight. Ashran Khan was knifed during a street fight in Oldham in the early hours of Sunday and later died. Oh, no, it was late at night then. Later died of his injuries. It has emerged that Khan was sent. So he was part of the kidnap gang. He's gone in jail. He's come out and he's involved in a street fight, a brutal street fight again. You know what I mean? And he's lost his life. And I'm not going to say anything nice about it. You know what I mean? It's probably the best thing that he has gone, because I can imagine in the years to come what he'll be like over an £80 debt, honestly. So his comeuppance came. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted someone. And, no one said nothing. In his community, I don't think he's been ostracised. He sexually assaulted another lad. That is sick. Now, if that was a white guy sexually assaulting his victim, we'd be going fucking mad. People would be going mad, but it's all right for him. He can do what he wants. They don't even make it a big thing. Oh, he sexually assaulted him, like it's normal. You just couldn't make it up. So I was telling you about the tram lines, the Spice tram to Chadderton, how dealers use Metrolink to peddle drugs and misery. And if you've seen anyone on Spice, you can see what it's like. Martin Allen Davis, 29, jailed for dealing spice in Chadderton. So what they were doing, they was coming from Manchester on the tram, getting off at the Chadderton stop, which we call it, ended up the nickname the Spice stop. Now this is a couple of 100 yards away from my Shania's house. So this is the kind of thing going round there. So drug dealers, all sorts of kind of shady people. Some of them might have had knives. And my grandniece gets her tram. She goes to school on the tram, and that's her stop. We shouldn't have this kind of thing in our society, our tram systems and stuff like that. So the Spy stop, so that's South Chadderton. So I told you about that tram stop that I've not even put up, but there's been homophobic attacks across that tram stop. The most serious one a couple of years ago in Rochdale, and the guy was beaten black and blue by Asian men. That's what it said in the report. And so, what gets at these people do these kind of crimes. Now, police called after schoolboy posted photo of himself holding an AK-47 on Facebook. Right, just days after the Paris terror attacks. And what he did, he put the Paris flag over the picture with him holding the AK-47 at school. So, and this is in Pakistan. So, this is a school kid. What they're learning when they go to Pakistan, are they, do you want your son having pictures with an AK-47 holding it like he's shooting it? Do you want your 15-year-old son with pictures like that? I don't. I don't really. I don't want that. Obviously, they know about guns, but would you have yours pausing like that? And really, he said that he only put the French flag up because what had happened in France. Everyone knows that Muslims agreed. Some Muslims, yeah, it's bad they got killed, but it serves them right. That's the attitude. The bad they shouldn't have been blown up or murdered in a terror attack, but the people who've done the cartoon are wrong. So that's across all the board. So yeah, I don't think he feels sorry for things that are going on in Paris. But again, the local rag MEM make it look like, you know, he's sorry. He did it in respect and all that, even though he's holding a gun. Bollocks. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. Oldham. What are kids learning when they're abroad? What are being taught? You know, what kind of influences are going on them? And I certainly wouldn't want my 15-year-old daughter holding an AK-47 looking like she's going to shoot it at someone. I wouldn't be wanting that kind of imagery. Me. So this is Oldham, another teenager. Police chief questions why Rochdale family wanted to take a baby into ISIS-controlled Syria. So there was eight members, I think, of couple of different families were trying to get to Syria. Rochdale councillor's son was one of them, right? Oh, my son's a good lad. I don't know why he would do anything like this. Well, I do, because of the things you disagree with, and your religion's so extreme. You'll be campaigning to have Donald Trump's head chopped off with all the lefties. Then in the same breath, you think that your son and that won't get fingered. The hate preachers, there's plenty of evidence of like people with extreme preachers over here in England. I'll get the article up in a minute. So 21 adults between 21, 22, 22, 24, 47. 3 children aged 3, 8, and 11, and a 1-year-old baby. All members of the same family will go in there. And the guy says, I don't know why. They're such lovely. They're not lovely people if they've been brainwashed. You know what I mean? Them people, are they on the terror watch list? I wonder. Probably not. If that was my family trying to get to, if that was a white person's family trying to get to, like, say, somewhere where there's hardcore right wingers, then we'd be on the watch list. Are them people on the terror watch list? Have they been added to the terror watch list figures? What about their dad? Did he get investigated? Right? And it's not this particular case, but there has been a case where his dad said, I don't know why my daughter went. And then they're showing him with images in protesting against America, saying burn the president and all that lot. Of course, you fucking kids are going to get brainwashed. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. Labour councillor, all the same family, not just 1 or 2 members, all the same family, all flying off to Syria. So, like, the serious issues there, it's all them going, all of them. Obviously, the 3, 8, and 11-year-old and a 1-year-old baby, maybe we can't hold them to account, but there's 2, 4, 5 adults aged between 21 and 47, and most of them are in the 20s. What's up? What do we teach these people? How are they being taught? Well, my thing on that is that it's the religion and the extremity of the religion that ends up sending them down the wrong path and all that lot. Crime. I've talked about knife crime. Now, girl of 15 seriously injured and another aged 14 arrested following a stabbing in Oldham. Hundreds of yards away from the estate where I live, West End Street, hundreds of yards away. I know the area really well. Didn't give any description of the girls, no description of the girls or anything in the scene. Obviously don't say the names, absolutely no description. Absolutely no description. Now, I never found out who these girls were. I never found out the description of them or anything. I don't know if they're white, black, pink, brown, or whatever, right? I don't know. But on an educated guess, there is a school there. Let's get the map up. There is a school just hundreds of yards away from there. So, and that school is predominantly full of ethnic minorities. So, I mean, and the area where it is predominantly ethnic minorities. So, an educated guess, I would say that the girls would have been some kind of colour. Don't know if they're Muslim, black, I don't know. But I don't think they were white girls, right? On the guess of the area, what's nearby, the kind of people in that area. You don't get any white kids hanging around in that area in groups. You don't. And I know my areas well in Oldham, you don't. And it's just hundreds of yards away from my estate. So that's my educated guess. Although, again, I never found out. If someone does know, you know, let me know. But, you know, that's just an educated guess. And, you know, 14 and 15-year-old girls, brutal. My grandnephews, Jalen and Jackson, live near that area. And Jalen has said to his mum once, he's not going out because there's too much crime on the streets. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. There's people being stabbed all around him, and he's not wrong. That's why he'd rather stay in and play his PlayStation or whatever. And, you know, I can't fault the lad, me, for his logic. Although, obviously, we want people to go out. So, 14, 15-year-old girl, serious stabbing incident. So, I mean, I've gone back 19 years of the, what's it called? The Gavin Hopley case. I've gone back 19 years there. The gang I was talking about here, let me just... The gang that I was talking about here, let me just find out if it's the same gang. We talked about this the other day on the Welcome to Oldham video I did about one of Arut Shah's lieutenants is a gang member and kidnaps people and stuff like that. She has pictures with him, and it just wouldn't happen with me. So, I mean, a list of a load of different crimes, and I mean, I go on about knife crime a lot. So, I mean, some of the questions I've got is, what do we teach these kids that by the time they're 15, they're going out kidnapping, sexually abusing, stabbing people? Where are they getting the values from? The family, the religion, the school they go to? Politically correct things, obviously, Gavin Hopley murder. Then the lads who kicked the guy on a tram stop, they did it because he felt like it. They murdered him in a racist attack, but they're not going to say that. So there's a whole host of issues in all them articles. I'll put the links up for every one of these, and if you want to go through and look at some of the other articles, when you Google up that link or whatever, look into the cases, look into some of the cases, and you'll see more politically correct things, more obviously racist things. Nothing gets said. So, welcome to Manchester. The stab fest, violent area. Oldham's had several records in crime violence rise. I've talked about these a load of times. Manchester in general has had, last year, they tipped the charts with Birmingham and London as the biggest crime areas. And them three areas are biggest crime areas in England for the past 10 or so years, the areas within the little individual towns. Oldham's only got 260,000 people in, but 2017, 2018, it had the highest violent crime increase in the country, even more so than London, even though London's got 3 million people. So you can just imagine the amount of crimes going around in Oldham. And even scratch the surface, there's been gunshots, there's been gunshots at residential homes with families in the area where I am, called as St Mary's. There's been some other deaths to do with violence, all different kinds of people, but predominantly a lot of the people are aged between 15 and 25. Now, if we don't get a handle on this quickly, we're just going to be left with a brutal society. We're going to be left with a society where we can't walk the streets and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, thank you very much. 41 minutes. Oh, big a long one, that. I'll get this out tomorrow. Please, please, please. Down below, you can see me info, my email, my PayPal is there if you want to donate anything to me. Underneath on my ticker, I'm on Twitter, YouTube, BitChute, DLive. I am on Telegram, not so active there, VK. And obviously I've got my In the Box page on Facebook. And I've started streaming to DLive. I need to build up my DLive. It's going to take me a while to get an affiliate to where I can do more, but I can stream to there for now. And it is building up DLive, and it is a pretty good platform as well. I like it, me. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I'll get in contact with you all very soon. Thank you very much.